Kia ora everybody, welcome not to a beautiful beach or the back of Waiheke or the Bay of Islands or anything like that. Welcome to the carport, slightly less romantic, but equally as important. It's middle of June and we're going to do some work on the old Rayglass here. It's a bit of like a soft sort of freshen up more than anything major. As you can probably see, there's quite a lot of yellowing around the stern drive here. I've hit that a few times with waterline stain remover. This hull is a 1998, so it's 2024, so I'll let you do the maths on how old it is. But take a look under here. You can see, hopefully the camera picks up some of that yellowing through there. Taking this one off, you can see there. So I have to tidy that. I thought I'd bring you guys along for the journey, have a bit of a look. And this is something that you could do at home quite easily if you just want to give your boat just a wee bit of a birthday. Anyway, enough of me talking, let's get to work. As you can already see, after just hitting that part compared to that part, it's made quite a big difference. I am just going to tape up around the engine here. You can see I've just started. I thought I'd just show you, just to protect that. Don't know what the active ingredient is in this, but it can't be good. Stain remover, you can quite clearly see it's working, so I'll keep stripping it. Now, you don't want to leave it exposed for too long. Think of it a bit like an exfoliate, like you're ripping a layer off here. I'm going to shoot to Burns Co. No, I'm not sponsored by them. There's one locally, and then we'll go with the super wax. Hopefully we can seal it off so that when this stuff reappears, because it will have to work its way through a layer to actually get into the hull. I've done this job a few times and I've been a bit lazy, just done this part, and as you can see, it hasn't got me anywhere. You can sit at home and enjoy a nice coffee while I work my ring out. Sitting on the concrete's not much fun either. So this bit here, you can see I got a flathead screwdriver and just working in between it. Apologies for the Fleetwood Mac. Well, actually no, I don't apologise. Bloody good music to do work to. If I was really fussy, again, I'd take all these off, but you're always going to get a bit of stuff around there like that. But I'm really not that fussy. If you wanted to do a full job like that, you can strip all this off, but you are just creating more work for yourself. I just want it to look good at the boat ramp. Come down, no one's going to be looking at that. This is going to be underwater most of the time when I'm out. I just want the boat to gleam. That's what this is about, getting those big areas nice so the boat looks cool. But yeah, if you please don't rinse me in the comments, because I get that, yep, I should be taking all this off. But that's not what this is about. This is about like a weekend attacking your boat, not a full pull it all apart refit. Anyway, okay. I'm going to start down the side. It's interesting, you sort of look at the white hull and you think, oh yeah, it's not too bad. And then you do a patch and all of a sudden you can see, oh man, this isn't white. You can see what it was when it came out of the factory. It's a bit hard with this light given the carport, but I'll try and demonstrate parts where I can. And then I've got to get under there. That's going to be the real fun part. Now, as you can see, probably from that time lapse, I've done all around the back. Just doing this last little bit here. I'd say this maybe has been left in the water at some point, and it's just got this brown on it. This is before I owned it, but it has come back really nicely here. Like any job, you can't be done without a bit of the sponsor's product. And yes, you may rinse me in the comments for drinking shit beer, but hey, secretly it's not bad. I'm hitting acetone every so often too, so the waterline stain remover chops that brown stuff, and then the acetone gets like some of the rubber that comes off these trailer rollers or bits and pieces like that. Be really careful not to use any of these products on this stuff here, on the decals. It will absolutely bugger them. No more so than I've done from smacking into things, as you can potentially see a bit of a chunk there missing. But yeah, be really careful not to hit your acetone on those there. The other thing I've noticed, I'm pretty thorough with cleaning my boat. Water, I use like soap and stuff, and I've noticed like salt on it. So what I'm going to do is buy one of those like salt wash products. You see them on Instagram, I think Salt Wash Company, there's a few others that do it. And I'm going to try it. What I'm going to do is wash like 3 or 4 times just the starboard side of the boat with the salt wash product, and the port side with my traditional way, which is like fresh water and a bit of like dishwashing detergent and stuff. And I'm going to report back and see if that stuff's any good, because it's bloody dear. It's like $100 for a starter kit. But if it works, then it's worth it, right? But if it doesn't, if it's no better than the than the dishwashing liquid in a rag, well, yeah, save yourself some money. But anyway, that's going to come up. So if you are watching from one of those companies and you want to send me some of that product for free so that I can do a test, that would be great. However, I will say, if your product doesn't work, I am going to be honest about it, like we are on our podcast. But yeah, anyway, just got a little bit to go, and then I've actually got to go to Burns Co and get the grunt product to really smack into cutting and polishing it. Stay tuned. Now there's a few imperfections in here. You probably might be able to see it with the camera. What it was is the wheel flicked up some like brake dust. Actually, you might even be able to see it on the mudguard if I get the right light. I had a bit of an issue with the wheel bearing, and it's actually flicked like little things of rust up into here. Tried hitting it with acetone and all these things, didn't work. So what I'm going to do is just give it a very light sand. That's what grit is it? Should have looked it up. 1200 grit wet and dry sandpaper. I've soaked it in this little thing of water for like half an hour, probably just because I was doing another job, but it does pay to soak the sandpaper, I've found. Get it nice and wet through, and then just work it. Keep dipping it in the water, and it's just taking some of that off. Like I say, I don't think the GoPro is going to catch the stuff I'm taking off in this light. But yeah, if you've got anything that's a bit stubborn, don't be afraid to get like a little sandpaper and just dust it up. You can see there's a little bit of gel there. Obviously you don't want to sand the shit out of it, but just taking some of that off. Might even hit it like here too. Anyway, so yeah, so if you can't get it off with acetone or the waterline stain remover, the old 1200 or 1500 wet and dry sandpaper does a good trick too. Okay, so this has been pretty stubborn, so the wet and dry wasn't really getting it. So I've gone to a 240 grit. Now keeping in mind this will be scratching the gel, okay, so I'm working around it. I'm sort of wetting it a little bit, but you don't really need it too wet with 240. And just trying to work around the area, and then I'll hit with the 1200 after, just to try and get rid of those sanding marks that will show up in the light when you use those heavy duty things. So don't be afraid to attack something with a more coarse sandpaper, and then obviously you can just work those marks out. When you're working the marks with like the 1200 or whatever, try and do like a zigzag pattern and try and sort of fade it out, and then we'll hit it with the buffer later. Should be all good. It's going to be behind a cleat, that's where a cleat goes, so it's not going to catch the eye too much, so I'm not panicking too much. Righto, picking up from yesterday, so just a bit of a recap. I cut it with that water stain remover and did some light sanding. Now I've gone and bought one of these. Okay, it's a buffing tool, and what I'm going to apply first is a cutting compound. Okay, so I'm going to cut down the hull. I don't know if the camera will pick up, but you might be able to see some of the swirls where like I had a light sand yesterday. So we're going to hit it with that and try and take it all off, get it all back to sort of like fresh material, if you like, because the staining and stuff is actually in those the outer bits of it. And then later on we'll come along with me just dropping that with some super wax just to seal it all off. So yeah, make yourself a coffee and watch me do the hard work. So I've put some of the compound on. It's a little bit hard with one hand, but I'm just going to sort of try and dab it on with the pad so it's on evenly. I might need a little bit more. Again, I'm trying to hold the camera and do it, but you dab it round so it's nice and even, and then you hit it. You don't need the RPM going hard out. You just need to be like on, say, medium. Obviously each one's going to be a bit different, and then just sort of slowly be quite uniform with it and try and use like the edge of the cutter a little bit. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've been going a few minutes, and as you can see, it's pretty grey out today. Not good for boating, but, which is good, but also not so good for this. So I've actually got the work light going, and hopefully you can pick up. I've been working this corner here, and I've gone up to about the cleat. Now I don't know if the camera will pick up where it has been cut versus where it hasn't been. The naked eye can pick it up quite obviously, but it is hard with that low light to actually see where you're going. So if you've got a work light, set it up. I've been working on the inside of here too. Any bits you can't get with this, just get with a hand rag and just give it a bit of a scrub. This has got like little particles in it, so it actually does a really good job just by hand. It's a bit annoying. You can attach a piece to a drill bit as well if you really want to get carried away, but Becky said she'd give me a hand soon, so I'll just save all those niggly bits for her when she comes out, and I'll keep going with the tool. With this, I'll do some more video. I'm still getting used to it. Just, you don't need to be wrestling it. Like, what I found is that I feel like I'm pushing too hard, and all of a sudden it starts to get a mind of its own. So just gently working its way along seems to be the trick. Yeah, I'm by no means an expert with all of this. This is me sort of figuring it out as I go. Again, this is the weekend refit, so just doing what I can in a weekend. So I'll keep going on this, but yeah, it's really good to see the work. Also, just after I've done like a bit of a cut, I'm just wiping it with a rag just to get any compound off, so that it's not still there when we hit it next with our wax. Anyway, I'll keep going. Look who I roped in. Wearing a bit more than normal when she's on this channel. Normally it's a bikini and a fishing rod, but just to prove that, you know, she also does the mahi. So it's actually really helpful because she's doing all the shitty bits that I didn't want to do, which is like the bits you can't do with the machine. A bit hard with the light. We've got the light there. I might try and get these lights on in a minute, but it's good. But those bits you can't get with the tool, it's good to get by hand. So really helpful. Good if you can employ some cheap labour, which I've got. See if she earns herself a nice red wine. Okay, welcome back. Full disclosure, we're not still on the same weekend, so the whole weekend project thing is a wee bit of a lie, I guess. Just ran out of time. What I've done though, I've just done the starboard side, the hull up to, so the full hull underneath and the deck up until here with the polish. I'm using this grunt polish here. And as you can see with this paintbrush, I just sort of paint it on in like a square, do like a shoulder width of me, and then just hitting it off with this foam pad. The secret's just to not go too hard out, and just slowly working it in, and then just going back over it 2 or 3 times, and then hitting it with this microfiber cloth, and the finish is just stunning. I'll try and get the light, but I've also cut all that through there too. So I'll hit that with the polish. And I'll probably, while my charger, while the buffer charges up, I'm gonna sort of like hand cut and polish what I can in here. It's so hard because you get so much traffic through here. A little bit undecided what to do with the floor. You can see there's like yellowing there. Might hit it with a cut, probably won't polish it. My fear is that it will get slippery, which is the last thing you want when you're at sea. Right, welcome back. As you can see, we've dragged the boat out of the carport out into the sun. The weather's been so bad, so it's had to, but this is a couple of days later, I'll admit. But look at the way, and I hope it comes through on camera, look at the way that is glistening in the sun now. Now this side's had the cut and the polish. I'm just finishing the polish on the other side. But it has just come up so good. A little bit of elbow grease and definitely some tricky bits. Like through here, I had to work around it a wee bit, and like I was really careful not to catch the lettering. As you can see here, you can see like a white, very light white line where the stuff's actually sort of caught on the lip of the end there. So a few little things like that I'm learning, but overall, I'm absolutely stoked. But come around the other side and I'll show you how I'm doing the polishing. But what I want to show you to do is how I'm polishing this bit. So this was cut the other day. There's a real gleam to it now. So again, I don't know if the camera's picking up, but I can see my reflection. That's That's taking out that dullness in the gel. Like a paintbrush, not too much on, and just painting a section. It doesn't need to be all that thick. And then sometimes I just go up and down like that just to get the even spread. So I've got a box yay big now, as you can see, about my width. And then what I found with the polish is a little bit different to the cut. The cut, I had it a bit, just going at it like 1500 RPM, I suppose it is. With the actual polishing, I'm finding just on like level 10, where it's 10,000, 1,000, whatever it. So just much slower, and there's not as much pressure. I'm just sort of letting the foam do the work. The lip there is get a microfiber rag and just gently give it a wipe around what's left, and it just tidies up any bits you might have missed. And that's now polished. Rightio, welcome to the next day. We're about to head on the water. Look at this though. I'm so stoked with how it's come out. If you compare it to how yellow it was before, it's just catching the sun. Still a couple of little jobs to do. For example, I'm going to varnish these. I need some tape and tidy up the wood on there. But overall, I am so stoked with how this has come out. The final step now is just to give it a wash. But I am going to be doing a product test on this stuff here, okay? I've spent my own money to buy this. I've seen lots of Instagram advertising clearly targeted at me to use it. So I'm going to wash the boat with this boat wash and see if this stuff's worth it. Because it's expensive. And if it's good, absolutely. If it's not, it's just expensive soap.